Hello everyone, welcome back to another week of Xbox Live Indie Games. This time we're looking at the games released during the week of October the 6th to October the 12th, 2013, starting with Mace. Welcome to it. Only 4 games released on Xbox Live Indie Games this week, not many compared to last week. Mace is a top-down shooter, a shmup, space shooter, whatever you want to call it. The description of Mace says that it is inspired by the old space shooters on the Amiga. I never had an Amiga, never really played many Amiga games, so I'll have to take its word for it. I do know it looks very pretty. Sprite work looks very nice. Even though the game is going for trying to evoke older games, such as games on the Amiga, it's not low-res pixel art, but rather the pixel art is very high-res. So, okay, what are we doing in this game? We got a gun. As you saw, I got a power up early on. It turned my one gun into 2. I have a special weapon here. Sort of multi-shot bomb, I guess we'll call it. No story to start off with, however. We don't know who we are or who we're fighting. Obviously, these things are extremely important, extremely necessary to know for a space shooter. How am I going to relate to the main character without knowing the story and lore behind Mace? So like I said, the game... I got G. I got a G. Okay, that's what G does. As I said, the game looks very nice. It looks a lot better than most of the games we see on Xbox Live Indie Games. Sprite work is pretty excellent, even though I noticed that the individual sprites don't really have much, if any, animation to them. Like, they just look like they're all still sprites. And they might rotate as they move in different directions, but I'm not seeing too much actual animation on anything. That's just something I noticed. This game still looks nice. Alright, so far all the power-ups I've been getting have just been adjustments to my main gun. The first one making it shoot double, then the next making it shoot quadruple in diagonals. Haven't gotten anything dramatically different. Music sounds nice too. The game seems to be doing a good job as far as audio. But as far as gameplay goes, it's not... I mean, it works. It works fine. It just doesn't seem to be doing anything different, anything unusual than the normal shmup formula. You have, you have enemies coming in patterns that you shoot, occasionally getting power-ups. Not seeing too much of anything different. I don't really seem to have any sort of special moves I can do with the ship in terms of maneuvering it. Oh, hold on, do we have a mini-boss here? Maybe so. If it was a mini-boss, it didn't last very long. The game runs very smoothly. I mean, I don't feel any lag between using the controls and things happening on screen. And the frame rate seems fine as we just scroll slowly up the screen. It seems very smooth, which I know usually seems like an odd thing to say, but like I pointed out before on Xbox Live Indie Games, that's kind of a... You don't necessarily know if the game will even be able to do that. Well, I mean, nothing is really changing so far. Haven't encountered a boss or anything. The enemies have been pretty... Well, I mean, that's kind of a different enemy right there. We saw it once before, but... Oh, I died and I lost one of my power-ups, it seems. The diagonal one. Though I still have the double guns. So maybe if you die, you only lose one of your gun power-ups, not all of them. Maybe that's the case. The game does seem to be kind of forgiving in terms of health and lives. Which is good, because I seem to have been needing them. Oh, hold on. Things seem to be emptying out. Do we have any... Oh, no, that's just the end of the level. I was wondering if maybe a boss would appear. No, level just stopped. Just ended, I guess. Alright. Go on to the next one, Stage 1-2, which looks exactly the same as Stage 1-1. Alright. Background's the same, enemies are the same. Oh, there's a new enemy on the left side of the screen. Sort of a rotating turret on that asteroid. Aside from that, this seems exactly like the previous level. I mean, I guess we are still in the same world. That was Stage 1-1, this is Stage 1-2. We haven't yet gotten to World 2, so maybe things change up then. I am kind of getting the impression that there's a bit too much sameness, though, in what we've played so far. Not that, you know, like I said, not that the game's bad or anything, but maybe a little bit more, throwing a little bit more variety at you could be a good thing. Could shake things up. Hold on. Oh. Reached the end of the demo. I was about to say, oh wow, we actually made it to a new music track. There actually is another music track besides that one we've been hearing the whole time. Yeah, that sounds kind of nice too. But that's the end of the demo. We can't play anymore. That was the 8 minutes. Well, I mean, like I said, it looks nice, it plays nice, it runs smoothly, sounds nice, and like I can't really speak on it being evocative of old Amiga games, because I don't really have much experience with the Amiga. I do think that maybe it could stand with having a bit more variety of what the game throws at you. This is all just kind of the same stuff for the entire 8 minutes, and didn't really change up at all, ever. So maybe it does later on, but as far as the demo goes, it really did not. It was all just kind of the same thing for the whole time. Still, I mean, from what's there, it does seem much better made than your usual Xbox Live indie game. So that's Mace. It's a space shooter, which I assume that if you like Amiga shooters, then this says it's trying to be that. Maybe it is. But I say that it is worth trying out on the service, more so than many of the other games we've been seeing on here. Even if maybe it could stand to throw in a bit of some differences every now and then, it still seems pretty good. It's Mace. Next up is Avatar Deathmatch City. It's a very violent city, as you might be able to tell by that skull graffiti right there. It's a city where avatars do battle to the death. Over what? Who can say? Does anyone even remember anymore? Why the avatars must fight? Why they must die? Why they must kill each other? I'm sure at some point someone knew. Someone knew. But the battle has just gone on for so long that no one really remembers anymore why the avatars fight. Not even the avatars themselves. There's an avatar. Anyway, it's an online-only game, so it's not like we're doing much here. So I'll just do a little free roam so we can just see what it looks like. Yeah, here it is. I have a sort of a Nerf dart gun here. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, as far as polygonal games go on Xbox Live Indie Games, it runs smoothly, which as we've seen polygonal games on this service tend to not run very well. I don't know if that's an XNA thing or what, but there does tend to be a lot of frame rate loss when we look at polygonal games on here. This one's running smoothly enough, and things look nice enough, at least at a distance. When you get up close, you know, maybe not so much. But when you look at things at a distance, they look okay. You know? We have become God. The heartbeat of God pulses as we race around the city to attempt to find other avatars to kill with our Nerf gun. I think the reason for the Nerf gun is that Microsoft doesn't want actual, like, violence happening to their avatars. I think that is a rule they have. So I believe that any game... Oh! Nerf shotgun. I believe that any game that does involve avatars fighting cannot actually have realistic violence or, like, realistic guns killing each other. At least I think that's a rule. I think I heard that. I'm trying to remember now if we've ever seen a game on here that did that with avatars, that had, like, realistic weaponry and guns. Maybe we have, and I just can't remember. That's also possible. All these exploits kind of run together. They kind of blended together in my mind by now. So maybe we've seen exactly that, and I just don't remember it. But I do think that there was some kind of rule about it. Anyway, that's Avatar Deathmatch City. Obviously, we cannot engage in the deathmatch because I don't have Xbox Live Gold. So we're just looking at what it looks like, this city that we're running around in, that the avatars somewhere online are killing each other in with their Nerf guns. Next up this week on Xbox Live Indie Games, it's Ariadne Odyssey, Chapter 1, of what will obviously be a very long, involving saga. And there's Orchidia, the spirit of Iris Island. You can probably get an idea of what kind of game this is now. She's going to tell us the story of Ariadne. She has a dragon pet. Its name is Dragon. Ariadne, not the most imaginative when it comes to naming her pets, I guess. Uh-oh, the Draken Fleet. Apparently dragons and naming things like dragons are a big thing in the world of Ariadne. So, drama, story, and for some reason we press different buttons as different people talk. I assume there's a reason for that. Oh, here's Ariadne just getting into a situation. She doesn't know what's going on. She's just silly. Getting into this life and death serious situation, this power struggle between royalty, and she doesn't know that's gonna happen. Yep. You might think that this is a cutscene, that surely the gameplay will start any time now. You'd be reasonable in expecting that. Uh-oh. They've been encased in ice, which causes them to drop like a stone. Or drop like ice. And Ariadne, as she lands, she finds that the dragon finds Luna nowhere around. She's all by herself. Where could the others have gone? Now, this is surely where the game begins, right? Nope, because this actually doesn't... It actually just continues on like this. I mean, that looks like, in the background, it looks like an RPG Maker map that we'd be walking around on, but no. We just keep pressing the button, and Ariadne moves by herself into these different areas. Yes, let's move right through the tunnel. Oh, there's Princess Luna. You might notice there's a map in the lower right-hand side of the screen. I don't know why that's there. We're not using it. No options to go in other directions. We just go whichever the prompt takes us. Whichever button prompt appears is what we press. This kind of looks like screenshots from an actual game that someone put together into an X-Blake. I would not be surprised if that was the case. Oh, Ariadne has gotten herself into a mess. Two mischievous fairies want to do her harm. But then, suddenly, Volgar appears, I guess. And he's quite angry after dying so many times in his game. Oh, let's see. We have actually a choice. We can tell Volgar to kill them, or they got their lesson, let them go, please. Well, Ariadne, I think, is probably harsh and without mercy, so let's advise Volgar to kill them. Okay, he just does that. He just crushes them in his hands. And everything's fine. Apparently the fairies were keeping Volgar captive there for a long time. Oh, we have different choices we can choose. Let's just do them in order. Let's ask who he is. Okay, not Volgar after all. Looks, there's a bit of a resemblance, but he's actually Halban the Great. What does he think about Draco invading this island? Well, as we might expect, he is a mighty warrior and does not take kindly to these incursions. Doesn't seem like he can do a whole lot, though. Okay, I guess the princess was here and left. I guess we're trying to find her. Let's say goodbye and good luck and continue on, I suppose, in this amazing adventure. Oh, there's the princess. For some reason, she's not listening to us. I don't know why. Oh, another choice. We can go off the left side of the screen or open this door. Let's see what's inside the door. Ah, I see. Skeleton's trapped her in there. We must rescue her. Let's press A to rescue. Did we rescue? Let's go back into the door. No? Press A? No. Okay, nothing's happening if I press A. I guess Ariadne isn't bothering with rescuing, just leaving her in there for the skeletons, I guess? Maybe? No, there's nothing else I seem to be able to press. So, okay, let's continue on. Because I don't know why that's there. Oh, okay, that's the end of the demo. 80 Microsoft points, even though Microsoft points don't exist anymore, to experience a mystic adventure. By the way, this game, of course, being made by the makers of other previous X-Blake story-based experiences, such as Temple of Dogolrak. If you remember that, you can kind of tell by the font of the text they use. It's the same in all their games. So, apparently they expect that if you play that, you'll want to pay $1 to play the rest of it. It's not like $1's a lot, but I'm not entirely sure why this demo would inspire someone to want to actually continue playing on. There was no really playing anything to begin with, was there? It's just kind of pressing buttons to advance the story and run into a woman who was tied up by skeletons and just leaving her there, I guess? Maybe the full game you can untie her? I don't know. I don't know. It's Ariadne Odyssey. And I don't know why this is here or really what the point of it is. But it's there. Taking up space on X-Blake like so many other things are. And the last game for this week on Xbox Live Indie Games, wrapping up the week of October the 6th to October the 12th, 2013, it's Snowboard 2D, in which we snowboard on a 2D plane. Alright, so how does this work? Well, we are a snowboarder, and we can get points by doing jumps and tricks like that. I crashed. You might notice that on the map in the lower right, oh, I landed it perfectly. There's sort of a blue cloud on the left side of the map. That's an avalanche that's coming after us. We have to snowboard for our lives. So So, I mean, this just seems to be the point of the game. Just do tricks and flips and escape that avalanche before it reaches us and get as many points as possible. You can see in the upper right-hand corner there is a scoreboard. There are actually some other people playing the game. It seems. I mean, yeah, it's kind of surprising to me because sometimes I wonder if anyone else is actually playing. Oh, there it is. There's the avalanche. Sometimes I wonder if anyone else is actually playing Xbox Live indie games. It's easy to believe that no one actually is. Let's see if we can reach the end of the map without getting hit by that avalanche. But, you know, sometimes I'm on Xbox Live indie games playing these games, and I'm wondering, does this exist to anyone else? Maybe I'm just imagining them. Maybe is this just a hallucination? Maybe if you were to ask Microsoft about Xbox Live indie games, they would say, what are you talking about? Some sort of self-publishing service on the 360? We don't have that. We never had that. And then that's the big twist at the end of XBlig, is that it was just all in my mind. But no, sometimes you do see some kind of evidence that indicates there are other people playing this. Even though it can be hard to believe at times. Well, I mean, as far as Snowboard 2D, it doesn't seem bad for what it's doing. It just, it seems like there really isn't much more to it than what we're seeing here. Uh-oh, that avalanche is catching up. It was a nice run, and the nicest runs, of course, end with us being buried alive in an avalanche. Maybe there is no end to the track. Maybe you just keep going until you finally get caught by the avalanche. Maybe there's no way to win. That's the case with XBlig in general, right? There really is no way to win. Probably should try to stop landing on my head. But the lure of sweet flips is too strong. I mean, I guess this is all there is to the game, really. Doesn't really seem like there's anything else to it. Apparently there's a woman on the side of the screen who is watching us as we do this, and she makes sounds of reactions, I guess, as we crash or as we get perfects. I guess those are sounds of admirations when we hit the perfects. So, as the music indicates, Merry Christmas, everyone, as we die horribly, suffocating and freezing at the same time underneath unimaginable tons of snow and ice as the avalanche covers us. It's a metaphor, really, for the unimaginable amount of games that get uploaded to XBlig all the time. Not so much anymore, though, but, I mean, it's gone down a whole lot, but it used to be. There used to be a whole load. Just too many coming out each week. I guess that's it, though, for this week in Xbox Live indie games. Like I said, only 4 games. Mace, Avatar Deathmatch City, Ariadne Odyssey, and Snowboard 2D. Mace was the standout. It seemed, like I said, Mace seemed well put together, even though I thought that it did seem to get a bit too samey. In every other way, it seemed alright. Avatar Deathmatch City might be okay. I mean, who knows? I didn't actually get to play it online, but it played smoothly enough. Controlled fine. That's controls as you might expect an FPS on a console to control. Didn't do any surprises there. Maybe if you were able to get online and play with some people, maybe it actually might be kind of fun. Who can say? I didn't notice anything bad about it. Ariadne Odyssey was our confusing game of the week, as we scratch our heads in puzzlement as to why this thing exists and why it is for sale for money on some kind of service where you can spend money on games. Snowboard 2D finishing out the week. Like Snowboard 2D, like I said, there really is not much to it. What is there seems functional, doesn't seem broken or anything, but it doesn't seem to be anything more to it than what we just saw here, so I guess it's up to you whether that's something that you feel is worth your time. I suppose it's probably just to buy now $1, so it's just $1. So is it worth your time more than your money, I guess is the question. But that's it for Xbox Live Indie Games this week. I hope you have a good week. See you next week with more of these, whatever comes out in the current week, on the wonderful, beautiful, magnificent, fabulous Microsoft Xbox 360 Live Indie Games service. I'll see you next week.